Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Malik Dina, and this is Aware Muslim Presents. It's a show where we talk about political issues affecting the Muslim and human community, about what's going on in society.
That's good, I guess. That's succinct. My name is Anas. I am also part of Aware Muslim, and also want to talk about issues affecting the Muslim community and human society. But yeah, I mean, basically, what we're really trying to do here at Aware Muslim is challenge the media narrative that we have about Islam, and actually, more than challenge it, more than just try to like counter it or rebut it or argue, is take control, talk about issues, and talk about situations in a way that is unique to our perspective as Muslims. And so I think that's a huge part of what we're doing here. And I found that really interesting.
And you know, I think that this is an important issue, because I think what you're going to say, and we saw this here in Canada, this lesser of two evils kind of argument, right? Is that you're going to go to, a lot of people are going to go to and say, hey, look, Clinton is the lesser of two evils and we should vote for her. You know, Trump is, he's openly against Muslims, like he had the Muslim ban. If you look at Clinton, she's spoken out against this. She brought, a Muslim family to speak in the Democratic National Convention. So I think we're going to enter into this sort of where you're kind of presented with these two options. Yeah. And, and Muslims are going to, kind of argue, well, we should, really vote for Clinton because of these things. But I think that it's important we kind of step back and really kind of analyze her record, as it is to Muslims, right? Yeah. And you remember that clip where Trump said that he's going to, it's not sufficient just to kill the terrorists, but also kill their families. Yeah. Yeah. And what separates him from Clinton is Clinton's already done that, right? And she's very hawkish. She's known to be hawkish. I found this amazing article on online, Foreign Policy, which was written about a year ago, which kind of goes into a lot of things that she did. So, for example, when one of the things it mentions is that Libya, she was the one who convinced Obama to bomb Libya. Yeah. Right. When in Afghanistan, when they were debating how many troops she should send, she stood with the generals and said, there was Gates who was saying to send 30,000 troops. He said, no, let's send 40,000 troops to Afghanistan. Yeah. Yeah. The crazy thing I found in that article was, I'm just going to read it out to you, was about her relationship with Hosni Mubarak, the Egyptian dictator. And what it says she was close to Mubarak, and especially to the president's wife, Suzanne. And most decisively recalls Dennis Ross, the then National Security Council Senior Director for the Middle East. Her feeling was the Mubaraks had been a close friend for 30 years, and if you walk away from your friends, every other ally in the region is going to doubt your word.
And with friends like Mubarak, right?
How much more evil does it get than supporting Mubarak, right? We often are forced to quote this, to when Muslims do something wrong, somehow we always have to kind of stand up and condemn people because people think that we're,
monsters.
I was going to say vampires, but
close enough.
Yeah. So it's we always say that if you take one human life as if you killed all of humanity, which is in the Quran, and of course that's true and that's important because it's part of our responsibility to educate people about Islam, because they don't know, and that in this propagandistic system, it's we have to do that, unfortunately. However, it doesn't just apply to Muslims; it applies to even Hillary Clinton. If that one bomb killed one person, and it applies exactly the same. Why would it be any different?
Yeah, one innocent person. Yeah,
one innocent person that is killed by any of the bombs or the military kind of invasions and that type of thing. It's as if it's all of, that person's killed all of humanity, right?
And that's the thing with Clinton. I find it, there's a very famous playwright and a Palestinian rights activist, a Jewish guy himself by the name of Tony Kushner, and he was recently brought on to MSNBC a little while ago, and he was asked, who he was supporting, and he said, Hillary Clinton. And it was disappointing because, he's called himself a Marxist in the past, and, he's seemed to have these kind of ideological principles, but he was supporting her. And even I think it was on Chris Matthews, or I forget who it was that was interviewing him. And he asked him, like, what is, why? Like, you're someone who's been known for, talking about Israel-Palestine issues isn't Hillary Clinton much more in line with, the Zionist interpretation of that situation? And he was like, yeah, but like that's what the system is, right? Like that was kind of his out of it. And that's what I find with Clinton. Like she's so embedded into every evil that the system has created, whether it's the trade policies like NAFTA, whether it's mass incarceration with her calling black people super predators in the 90s and her husband signing in that crime bill that destroyed black communities, whether it's her, support of all the wars. I mean, which war has there been that she hasn't supported in her time as a politician?
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Absolutely.
I think she was even in support of Vietnam back in the day because she was a Republican back then. She campaigned on the Goldwater campaign, actually.
Wow.
Which is really interesting.
That is interesting.
And so I don't think there's been a war in her life that she hasn't supported. So, I mean, it's fascinating to me that people can see her as a hope of anything, right? You're right. Trump talks about killing Muslims. Hillary Clinton already has Muslim blood on her hands.
That's right.
She's already killed Muslim families, and she knows what it is. She knows when you talk about, attacking a country, when you talk about drone strikes aren't done in a targeted manner for, a specific person who's been known to commit some kind of crime against humanity. They're done as signature strikes. They're people who kind of look like terrorists, and so you can attack them. We know what the drone strikes in Yemen did, destroying that wedding and killing how many people, there. So she knows what it means when she calls for war, and she does it anyway.
Right. And, we should remember, obviously, she was supported the Iraq War. Obviously, she's distanced herself right now from it. However, it's when you look at that, that's quite so callous, right? To, there was a number that came up in 2013, according to this Iraq body count. There's a UK site that said put the number around 115,000.
Yeah.
However, there was a study done across 2 American universities, Johns Hopkins, Washington State, as well as Simon Fraser, and then one Iraqi university. What they found, the number was actually 500,000. And so the discrepancy is on the destruction of the society, right? When you start counting in the fact that a woman can't go outside to give birth because the society's unsafe, that baby dies. When someone drinks water that's not clean, they would have had access to fresh water before the invasion. They would have perished.
So it's like structural violence as opposed to just direct casualties.
Right, and so we're talking about 500,000 people. That's GTA. Like that's the Greater Toronto area gone. Right, and so we're not just talking about some this is a crime, right? And to just say that was a mistake, oops, like how is that acceptable, right? And if a Muslim supported a similar murders campaign against somebody else, could they just say oops, and then be off the hook?